Are we happening? Are things back to normal? I feel normal. I feel great. My voice is tolerable. Okay, a little, mostly. There. Well, good evening. Good Friday evening. Things happened kind of the way I expected they would. Tons of gigs happened this week, including multiples on multi-day. I can hear a little bit of echo, so I'm sure I'm kind of boomy right now. Apologies for that. Okay, hopefully that helps a little bit. I beg your pardon. Voice is better, but it still does a little bit of that, and I'm sorry. Thank you, Patricia Grace. Well, all right, so it is Friday night. It is, what is it? This is July 18th. We are more than halfway through July. July is halfway through the year. Goodness gracious, things are just happening. You have, if you're watching this live or if you're cruising YouTube and looking around, stumbled across ADRAMADA. Another Dave Rush Ask Me Anything. Digital Alchemy, and that's it. And we get together once a week or so. I've been on kind of hiatus because of that. They gave it a label. And they put me on pills. And I'm better, but I don't know that I can give the pills the credit. So, whatever. Nobody's asking. I'll go see the doc on this for a follow-up in about a month. So we'll see what happens. See who agrees and what they don't. In the meantime, I'm doing this show mostly as per normal. There'll be one or two minor exceptions here, but let me go through my little notes here and see what we've got going on. Then we'll check in and see who all's here. I am Dave Rush, the aforementioned ADRAMADA Dave Rush. Your tech from Texas. This is ADRAMADA. I did that part. Come for the shirt. This was a fun find. I'm not that big of a fan of Star Trek Enterprise, the series, but I really like this shirt. So, anyways, come for the shirt. Stay for the news. And for the daily project, we have a project today. And this show is, since we haven't been on for a while, bear with me. I'm going to go through the whole 2 paragraphs here. This show is devoted to collecting and disseminating information on tech and its uses. We do non-tech too. In particular, we're interested in the advancement of technology and how it impacts our daily lives and our long-term lives. We range through a big list of topics, and it's unlimited. You got a tech topic you're interested in, kick me off a note in one of my methods of communication, and we'll talk about it. I know, Jason, you are waiting breathlessly for the putty episode, and that's the one that I'm going to be working on this week. So, as noted, today is Friday. Normally we get together, at least we attempt to get together on Thursdays, but it is Friday, July 18th. Of 2025, and July 18th. Does it amaze you that the calendar that we use today goes back so far, or that the Gregorian calendar, which followed the Julian calendar and or whatever preceded it, I don't know which is which, but that somebody accurately tracks these dates into the thousands of years ago in some cases. So on this date, in the year 64, the Great Fire of Rome begins. We all know the story. Nero fiddled while Rome burned. Well, this was the burning they're talking about. 1,800 years later, to the day, 1864, Abraham Lincoln puts out the call for. There was no conscription at the time in the U.S., and we had kind of a big internal war here. And if you have war, you need soldiers. So Lincoln puts out the call for 500,000 volunteers for military service. What do we get there? 40, about 80 years later or so. Pilots love this story. Everybody else kind of peripherally knows about it. But 1938, on today's date, July 18th, Awwwkkkk arrives in Ireland. He launched out of New York ostensibly to fly to California. But instead, he single-handedly flew across the North Atlantic and landed in Ireland 28 hours later. That's a lot of juice. I don't know. I never ran the numbers on that to see if he had enough juice to get to California. This is July, so the prevailing winds out of the west would be light, so that's not a big deal. Nevertheless, he did have a tailwind, or should have had a tailwind, to get to Ireland, and that would have helped the fuel consumption. 39 years ago today, on this date, let's make this the last on this date, Aliens. July 18th, 1986, Aliens was released. So, eep, op, ork, so glad to have you here. I just posted, if you haven't already gone up to the top of the postings, ways to communicate with me. And lots of the other people that you see here, they all kind of hang out in similar circles. So there's an invite to the Discord server. If you are not a member of our Discord server, you are missing two really important things and a lot of trivial things. Number one, I put up interesting news of the moment when it runs across me. If something comes up, a big, notable vulnerability that has a broad impact on us, I'll summarize that and give links and put that up there, and whatever other kind of newsworthy things happen. Also, when I have something really cool for you, such as our current giveaway on there, and I'll talk about that in just a couple of minutes. And there's lots of other things going on. We've got lots of tech rooms. We've got lots of non-tech channels. Come on in. So the invitation link is there. It's free. What else? I put a couple of email addresses for me up there. My X account on DRushTX. I'm DRushTX just about everywhere. A couple places I made Dramada, but my Mastodon, I'm DRushTX over there. I did not make slides for these two things. Let's talk about these two and then see who's here and what the world's got going on. Last week, we came back on the air after about 2 months of hiatus. A month of that was throat, and the other month of that was more work than I could possibly keep up with and prep shows. So, but we're back. We're at the end of summer. Not much going on. I did get a call 4 hours ago that says, hey, can you go to Corpus Christi? It's about 4 hours from here. I said, no, I have a show and I promised to do it. So I didn't go to Corpus Christi. That's not the only reason I didn't go, but this was a big one for me. Anyway, so last week we had guests. It was a great way to come back from a hiatus. We had Jeremy Allison and Jason R. That's what his name that he goes by online, from CIQ, who is the support organization for Rocky Linux, and they talked about FIPS, the federal rules for Linux, right? The government, the U.S. government, the U.S. military will not put a Linux distro on their computers unless it meets FIPS standards. And so we talked about some of those features and functions that have to be added to Linux distros. And there are a very, very, very short list of Linux distros that meet the FIPS standard. And we never talked about this part of it, but it's a revenue thing, right? So they were basically slugging it out with the big guy, and they said, we need more revenue, and we love this stuff, and we get people who understand this. And so they added FIPS support, and now their revenue stream has broadly increased. You can have Linux FIPS for free. Download it, install it on your favorite machine. You just don't get support for it. You got to open up your wallet to get support. They also talked about a Linux distro they have of Rocky called Hardened Linux. That's not its official title. It does have a title, LHC Linux, RHC, something like Rocky Hardened, whatever the C is for. And that's pieces and programs that they've added or modified to make it more secure than your stock off-the-shelf things. Now, that means that there is theoretically some potential incompatibilities to the game, but that doesn't seem to be a problem. And that's why CIQ is there to fix those problems if they do come up. Today's topic, well, we're going to learn how to use the cloud to say no. I am a guy who can't say no, and I have been burned and burned people for that reason, because I say yes, and I say yes, and sometimes I yes a couple of things that turn out to be in conflict, and I wind up disappointing somebody. Maybe they're not really, but I'm honesty is the best policy, right? Yes, I'm going to do this. No, I can't because I said yes to that, but I'm a people pleaser. I've got to say yes, and that's a problem. So if honesty isn't always the best policy, the alternative is a little white lie. Oh, I would love to help you, but I had my legs torn off today in a wheat thresher, and I'm going to be laid up for a couple of months. Maybe not your best way. Well, we're going to go to the cloud and find out good reasons that we can offer to say no. And then I'm going to show you how to do that at home. How to set up your own cloud service with the no service. We call this no as a service. I didn't invent this. I didn't call it this. I'll talk about the gentleman who coded this, and it's his nut title and name for the whole affair. It's going to be fun. I'm doing something. I'm going to give away the big secret on that one right now. I didn't test it. We're going to do this raw. It looks simple, and something is going to go wrong. You know how that goes. But I want to, it's such a simple set of steps that if everything is compatible, and it's going to be kind of a cool presentation, and if there's a problem, we'll be able to do a little troubleshooting and see where that goes. Okay, the freebie. This is Friday. We're 2 weeks into a freebie. I got 2 weeks left on this freebie. I can do more later if we need, but I made a course and put it up on Udemy. It's a cheap course, but you know, when they're not on sale, it's not as cheap as it could be. Udemy has sales all the time, and they set the pricing on this stuff. I have nothing to do with it, but my course falls into one of those categories that when they have a sale, mine's the cheapest. It's somewhere between 10 and 20 bucks. And the course is a subnetting course. You can learn in 2 hours how to subnet, mostly in your head. And I've got 3 more pieces to add to it. It's going to even make it better. But it's had a few enrollments. But I wanted to have kind of get the enrollment up and to offer it to people who watch this show and people who are members of my Discord server. So I created 100. How do you say that? I created a freebie link that's good for 100 enrollments, and there's still a fair number of unused enrollments left. You have 2 weeks to use that link. It's on the Discord server. So go over to the Discord server, and I'll put this link up again right now. It's in the announcements category. You can always contact me directly through one of those contacts that I mentioned. And you can enroll in this course for free. And once you're enrolled, it's lifetime access. Okay, so if I add stuff, change stuff, fix it, 3 years from now, 5 years, 10 years from now, you'll get it. I have a request. I'm helping you, you help me. I want to make a little revenue off of this, right? The way you make revenue off of Udemy courses is when people do searches, your course pops up high in the results list. So it would help me out if you would enroll, and then just, if you're not that interested in it, you don't have to be, but I think it's interesting, I think it's educational, I think it's fun. But if you're not, just put it on play. 2 hours, and it's all done. Then the course is completed 100%. A couple of you have done that. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Jose. Another name I missed. Sorry, I didn't memorize all the names because they're starting to get longer. But anyway, just let that run. And then once you've gone through some or all of the course, doesn't matter. And I hope you're watching it. I hope you're using it. I hope you're learning it. Give me a review. 5 stars would be the appropriate review. And that will help it appear higher in the list of results, and people will buy it when they're not on sale. And people who aren't members of our Discord server or on here watching the show, they will pay regular price for it or discount price during the sale. I'm going to tonight open it up to a broader audience right now. Right, we've got 106 people or so who are members on my Discord server. Looks like everybody who's going to take it and enroll has done so. Might be a couple more. So now I'm going to add it over. You can figure this out to another Discord server that has a little shy of 2,000 people on it. So if you're interested in this, go get that link and enroll. Do it now. Thank you very much. All right. This commercial brought to you by Dave and his Udemy course. All right. Let's see who's here and what you guys are doing and what you're thinking. Oh, good. A nice turnout for a while. Patricia Grace got in first today at 3 hours before show start. Thank you, Patricia Grace. I was on the fence, Patricia, yesterday. Do I want to do a show today? Can I get one ready? And then you posted a comment on last week's show, and that was my kick in the pants. So yes, that's why, in large part, why we're here. Till it turns up about an hour later, the reaction emojis don't seem to. Did I do a thumbs up? Hey, if you didn't do a thumbs up, do a thumbs up. I will too at the end of the show. Kind of the same thing. It helps people find the show. I don't make any revenue off of this. Never will. Let's see. Then me, show starts, links, sounding good. Many thanks, Patricia. Got to get one of them wireless mics. They're all the rage. So back in the days when I was with my old company and I was doing shows with my boss, we tried wireless mic, and it's great. Works fine. It's wonderful, good sound. And on at least 2 occasions in the middle of a show or sometime during the show, the batteries died. If I go out and I do a road show, I do a band, I put fresh batteries in all wireless devices before the show. And when I'm all done, I throw them all away, even if they have 80% life left. But we were too cheap to do that. We just keep reusing them until we get some kind of indication that they're low. That's a penalty. That's a pain. Yeah, Godzilla is gone. I put Robbie up. Can we see Robbie? Yeah, we can kind of sort of see Robbie. He's not gone. He's down here, right next to Mr. Gopher, who's right next to the B2 robot from Lost in Space, and all my little memorabilia down there. I don't know if I buzzed or not. Shia, so great to see you. The pink waving hands. Jason's here. What's up? Jumped on for a moment. Yeah, you're working. I'm glad you're here. I will take that as a sign that you're motivated and feeling good. So we're glad to see you. Thank you. And anytime you ever want to talk or whatever you got working on, you know who your friends are. Plus the friends and family that you have in the Carolinas. Yeah, it's Friday. There is a benefit to that. Hey, we got an Eddie Murphy marathon going on in my living room. The missus and I just watched Trading Places, and she is now watching Beverly Hills Cop 1. Haven't seen that in a long time. Video description was funny. I whipped that up this afternoon about 4 hours ago. Funny you mentioned that I'm going to start saying no to a lot of people more. Okay. You know, it's a skill that requires development. But, you know, if you're like me, yeah, I know, I seem gregarious and outgoing and all that. I am an introvert. I am shy. I'm less shy than I used to be. But one of the ways that I compensate for that is never say no, because I always think that people will think less of me if I say no. And I've been told many times that's wrong. So we're going. So you two. Vegas, Brent, holy Hannah. It is alive! Thanks, so good to see you. I'm going to get back to learning IT stuff after a break, okay? Here to help. Yeah, we haven't talked to Shia since she's got this new gig. It was kind of rough for her at the beginning, but I am sure that she's well settled in. So let's make sure we do that on the Discord server and get caught up. Let's see. No time for a side gig, but you enjoy your job, okay? For now. Good. I did a review, although still showing is no review. It takes a while for those things to turn up, a day or so. It'll get there. Thank you for the review. And I know what you wrote. Zaxor he is about to become a Boilermaker in a couple of minutes. Drummer, tech weenie. So cool. Great to see you, my friend. Yeah, we should chat. Can't wait to hear what your freshman course lineup is. Too busy at work, haven't been around. Okay, I understand that. I have a new evil idea for an AI project. You know, all of those behind-the-scenes movies where they say, this part almost played by. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about AI movies in today's news. Might have to get you Lou Priolo's book, People Pleasing. Yeah, I never read it. I'm certainly aware of it. All right, so we can sort of do that, and yeah. Zaxor is up in Indiana. A lot of IT fundamentals, school required, econ, calc, good, speech. Did you do calc in high school? Speech, oh sweet. Oh, Zaxor. When you're ready, when you're feeling like doing something fun, come on. Come to the show, join us as a guest. We'll talk about life from your perspective and age and how you see IT. And it'll be good speech practice, and it'll be fun. All right, I'm going to put a pause on messages and get through the news and slides. Let's go set up slides. That should look pretty familiar to most people. That is an SSD, an M2 SSD. I can't tell if that's an M or an M plus K key, M plus P key, but we'll assume that it's an M key, which makes it an NVMe disk. All right, here's the news on it. There's a company, Team Group, and the model for this thing is the, no spaces, P250Q SSD. It is different than every other M2 SSD than you've probably ever seen. And that's on the left-hand side of the object. You see that little black and red cable and connector coming out of it. Well, that goes to a button. You know what happens when you press that button? The drive melts. All the memory chips inside in the controller melt. And data is unrecoverable. And that's the nature of this. There are two ways that you can cause it to melt. One is the button and the other is with a software command, which means you can set a timer. If I don't check in every 24 hours or whatever, blow yourself up. You can come up with your own scenarios where that might be cool, might be useful. I saw that in the news earlier this week, and then while I was gathering news items for today's show, I ran across that. Next. This is a really bad graphic for the topic. We have been doing remote control, semi-autonomous, and even autonomous surgeries for some years now. The next step is AI learning robotic surgeons who then apply what they've learned. So they took a robotic surgeon and fed it a bunch of videos to do, the official name is insane, a gallbladderectomy. And then they took a very good human anatomy model with parts that have the same density and elasticity and all that as human parts and said, go get it. 17 times out of 17 times, am I right on the number on that? 17 tasks. Anyway, however many times they did this, they did it perfectly. Technologically, a marvel. Sociologically, that's terrifying. That's freaking terrifying. Because they will turn this loose someday. It'll be supervised and hopefully somebody will be able to put the stop on it. But it will advance to the point where they turn it loose and they walk away and I'll be back in 37 minutes, Mr. Jones, and you'll be perfect. I find this terrifying because we know that AI and robotics are not perfect and sometimes they go outside the boundaries of their prescribed limitations. And I'm just envisioning some AI robot working on a task you're supposed to do. What's the thing we all, an appendectomy. And then suddenly they remember, hey, I learned how to do another kind of surgery. While I'm here, snip. And suddenly somebody's talking. I still can't get above high C. It's not all scary, though. Each improvement takes us one step closer to Stepford Wives, Westworld, and Future World. It's a little early for this news, but I thought I'd get everybody primed. Perseids coming in August, and technically they start today. They go from now through August 23rd, right? This is a comet that went through a long time ago, and so its trail keeps expanding and expanding and expanding, and so the date gets earlier and later every year. So starting tonight, there's a few spotties. Peaks on the early hours of August 13th. So we're still 3 weeks away from peak. News this week. If you're not familiar with this, this was an early attempt at a realistic, totally AI created video. That's Will Smith eating spaghetti. And so it's the standard that they use as kind of a comparator. Every time somebody comes up with some new AI video improvement, they recreate this video or something similar to it. And it's just getting better. It's just getting more amazing. It is scaring the creative industry. Now, the creative industry was smart. They knew to be scared a long time ago. The things that they were afraid of are happening now. Very good, very realistic, front to back movie production. Audio, video, framing, lighting, camera motion, blur, everything. You can see this one. That's an old video. Will's a little blurry on there. The current most amazing one. When did that one come out? It was a Microsoft AI, right? No, Google's VO3. Perfect. No flaws, no extra fingers, no missing fingers. We've talked about on this very show Clonezilla. Clonezilla takes an image of a storage device and duplicates it to another storage device. It clones it. Well, why not take that the next step and say, after we've taken the image of it, compact it for storage? And that became a backup solution. How to use Clonezilla for a backup solution. Now, let's take those backups and rescue disks, not by completely rewriting a whole new disk, but have it analyze this and have it analyze your live disk and say, oh, okay, there's your flaw. I can fix your flaw. I can replace it. So latest version of RescueZilla is out, 2.6.1 if you care. What I found stunning about this is it works on images created, not surprisingly, by Clonezilla. It can use VirtualBox virtual disks, VMware's virtual disks, VMDKs, Kimu's virtual disk, Hyper-V's virtual disks, raw, DD images. Big list, keeps going on and on and on and on. I got through about half the list. So if you're looking for a backup solution or a possible recovery solution, it doesn't matter what OS you use, because you use your own boot or you use bootable media with RescueZilla on it. And you can back up and restore over network connections to flash media, to this drive, to that drive, whatever. Very powerful, very functional. RISC-V, RISC, Reduced Instruction Set Computer. We're on Generation 5. RISC are computers that are open source. You don't owe anybody any licensing on this computer stuff if you use it. You can't make it at home yourself unless you've got an IC foundry. But they're making all kinds of RISC-V systems. And the RISC-V power people behind the scenes said, we are killing support for the last couple of generations. The new generation is the one. And they're working closely with Canonical, who makes Ubuntu. And Ubuntu will have not the first OS for a RISC-V single board computer or full-size computer, but they're going to be the first Linux to have a graphical desktop with their new Ubuntu 25.10. That's fascinating. That's amazing as we look at the downstream implications. We're a little slow, so I'm not going to read all that junk. This is the last of the news slides. I know you can't read that all. You're welcome to try. Here's the key of that thing. Desktop Linux has just passed 5% installed base. We've doubled almost in the last 2 years. So if you look at this chart real close, Windows rules the roost at 63%. Remember, this is desktop, not Android phones, where they absolutely rule the planet. OS 10, which is Mac OS, 16%. Well, OS 10 is not Mac OS, but it runs on Mac. 16%. Mac OS, about 8%. Linux at 5%. Unknown, which has been beating Linux forever. Unknown means the people who track this stuff, they watch connections to various internet resources, and they track the OSs. You can set your OS so it doesn't report what kind it is, and so we get a lot of unknowns, and that therefore is a mix of Linux and Windows and Mac OSs and so forth. Chrome OS hanging out just under 3%. Okay, just 2 more things, and then we check in with you guys, and then we'll start project. Spoiler alert. Okay, if you have this great feeling that you want to go see the new Jurassic World, turn off your audio for the next 2.5 minutes, because I'm about to trash it. We went on date night last night. I had not high hopes, but I had hopes. I had expectations that about as good as all the other ones. Not anything. I am ruined on the Jurassic Park and World franchise forever. I will never go see another one. And I describe it this way. I have this as a hidden spoiler on the Discord server with some minor changes, so you may now look at it. If I were to use AI to make the next Jurassic movie, or to make this one, here's the prompts that I would have used. The spoiler alert. First, make all characters one-dimensional, stereotypical archetypes. Next, make the premise ridiculous. Next, major spoiler here, make a candy wrapper destroy a $1 billion secure lab. Next, include elements from Jaws and from Gilligan's Island. Next, include a character like Burke from Aliens. And I mean freaking exactly like Burke. Everything that Burke did, repeat it, duplicate him. And then finally, villainize a popular target industry. In Alien, they villainized the military-industrial complex. They wanted to go after, excuse me, the bad guy alien and turn him into a weapon. Well, pick the next big target right now and demonize and villainize them in the same way. Next follows standard movie formula. That's easy. And then last, make the dinos over-the-top mutants. Make the main bad guy look like a cross between a dino, an alien, and the Rancor from Star Wars. Sorry, it was just awful. Couldn't decide whether or not I wanted to go to sleep or gouge my eyeballs and earballs out. All right, if you've been following the news for the last 2 days, you will know this right-hand image. On the right-hand side, we have Andy Byron, who is the CEO of a company called Astronomer. Being hugged by Andy is his HR director. They are not married to each other. They are, however, married, and they were on a kiss cam at the Coldplay concert 2 days ago. I've never seen a kiss cam at a concert. So the crud hit the fan and all the fallout and blah, blah, blah. Why am I putting that up here? Because not long after I left my old company, I was out on the interview trail, and I interviewed with Astronomer a number of times. And I got the offer. And I declined it because they were convinced I could do the job. I was not. It's all about big data, and I just knew nothing about it. I don't know much more now than I did then. And we back and forth. No. We'll teach you everything. No, it's going to take too long. I'm an old man, and I ultimately declined. For the win. Huzzah. All right, last one. Our hummingbird is back. One day, you see that the black stalk that this feeder is hanging from. One day, about 3 weeks ago, I saw a hummingbird come and stare at the stalk, the staff. I looked for his feeder, presumably from last year. And he hummed around for 10 or 15 seconds and then flew away. So we broke out the feeder, and here's Hummer. He's here in the wrong season. He shouldn't be here until August through October. So maybe he didn't go. Maybe he came back early. I don't know what his story is. Got it. All right, let's see what you guys are up to and what you're talking about, and then we'll talk project. I don't suffer from, I don't know that word. Kleptophobia. Okay, I know kleptophobia. I'm afraid of thieves. I don't know what that means. I'll look it up when we get done here. My pastor is using his kiss cam pick in his sermon Sunday. Okay, I know this because I make the pro-presenter slides. Okay, so if we go for low-hanging fruit, he's going to talk about marital fidelity. But who knows? Pastors can sometimes twist something that looks like one thing and turn it into something very different. Oh, the Carolina wrens on my back patio have hatched. Oh, wow. You got an aviary on your patio. That's so cool. I'll share some pics. Good. Didn't get great shots. That's all right. They're young. They haven't flown away. Fear of someone's... Okay, that makes sense. Fear of someone stealing your liver. There's liver chunks. Okay, so I want to talk about this site. I shared this on Discord or someplace else once in the past, but I thought I'd just do this. Wow, did I not put up? I surely did. Oh, Okay, there it is. So there is a developer out there, has some cool stuff on his GitHub. His name, real name, Salman Qureshi. He goes by the name Hothead Hacker. And he created a web app that all you got to do is go to the main web app page. And when you get to the page, it says no and offers up a reason why you're saying no. So I'm going to go over to the page and then I'm going to share it because I can do that. Windows capture, not calculator. There we go. Now we go up. Oops. Oh, that's his GitHub page. That's not the one I want. I want the actual. There we go. Okay. So you just go to this page. NaaS, no as a service, at isolman.dev, whack no. And this is the no that you can tell somebody. No, because the version of me who says yes to this doesn't exist anymore. And if you refresh the page, he has a gigantic library of reasons. No, I've been chosen as the guardian of my living room today. And one more. It's family night. And by family, I mean me and my snacks. All right, back to me. Let me put that link in here, just if you haven't got it already from my other communications worlds. Oh, okay. Zip, zip, zip. All right, there's the link for that. And now let's talk about how you can set this up on your own. Oops, let me shrink back to me. There we go. First of all, I will give you his GitHub page. All the instructions that I have here are documented there. So if we accomplish this, cool. And if we don't accomplish it, I'll either do it again next week or finish it up or start with it. Or you can just go figure this out on your own. This is designed to run on a Linux box. And the code is not for Pi. You're going to have to run it on an Ubuntu or a Mint or a Rocky or whatever. It's a pretty simple project. All right, want to run this yourself? It's using apps and bots and landing pages, and lots of people use this in lots of different ways. It's kind of cool. To self-host it, it says, first of all, we're going to clone a repository. So let me connect to a Linux box. We use putty eRushTX at Nook 10 Nook 10 I5 FNH.local. I'll roll this machine on. Nook 10 I5.local. Yeah. Nook 10 I5.local. Okay. This is the bad thing about not practicing and rehearsing these sometimes. So I have to find the IP address. Do I have advanced? Yes, I have advanced IP scanner. English, run it. Extract, run. I know. Sorry, guys. Still happens quick once it comes up. It should happen quickly. My list is populating with IP addresses. I think there are 60 or 70 running in the house right now. There's NUP 10i7. There's another NUP 10i7. There's an i5. Okay, 120. All right, let's go putty again. I know, that sounds funky, right? Putty. Rush TX at 192.168.1.120. Hey, there we go. We're connecting. Connect once. Password is. Oh, I'm not reading out loud. All right. That's up. Now let's share with you. Okay. So I'm just taking the instructions from Salmon's GitHub. And he says, first thing we're going to do is we're going to git clone that Git that I copied to you. And I didn't copy to you yet, but that's it. Go into putty, git clone, https github.blah-blah-blah-blah-blah. I don't have git in here. Are you serious? Sudo apt install git. Yes. I use this machine all the time. I can't believe I don't have git in it. Okay, there we go. Buzz, buzz, grind, grind, grind. That's done. Now, we go into the folder that was just created. No as a service. And you can see he's got one folder in here, assets. And there's an index, JavaScript, a JSON package, a README, and another JSON package. When we did this, we hopefully got this new command, npm. Fine. Sudo apt install npm. Yes. Am I sharing that? Just to make sure. Yes, I'm sharing that. This is a package installer. Buzzing right along at 5%. For all this, we've done two commands. You almost always have git. You may or may not have npm, but you can see it's only going to take about 45 seconds a minute to get that installed if you don't have it. Now what's going to happen is this is going to complete the installation. This installs dependencies, and what it's going to install, besides his web app, is a tiny little project-specific web server. It's not Apache, it's not Nginx, it's just a web server that does as much web work as is needed to do this job. So we're done with the installation. Now let's make it start. npm start. And it's happening. It's running. Can't find module express. So it's going to fail. And I'll figure that out probably this week, and we'll load that up next week and see what happened here. Object anonymous, no as a service index. Maybe we don't need express. Let's find out. So I'm just going to leave, I don't need to leave this thing up and running, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go switch to a web tab. We'll go to that no as a service one and share that. Windows capture. All right. And if it works, if that express isn't a problem for us, all we have to do is go to our browser bar and put in the IP address, 192.168.1.120. And then there's a little bit more. It runs by default on port 3000. And it's in a page called no. And you can redirect this Where are you? Okay, port 3000 / no. And let's see what happens. 192.168.1.120. Did I forget and put the wrong thing in? IPA. 1.120. Okay, it looks like it needs that express module. But I'll find that out. I'll document it. We'll do that as the first thing that we do on next week's show. 192.168, 1.120. What happens if I just try to go to 120 and get an index? Nothing. What happens if I try to ping it? You know me. I got a problem. I got to work on it for a second. Ping 192.168.1.120. Okay, it pings. But it doesn't respond to port 80. What happens if I say :3000? Refuse to connect. Well, it could be a proxy or a firewall issue. I'll bet that's it. I got to open up port 3000. That's it. That's the default. All ports are closed until you open them. And I'm not going to run through that hassle right now, but I'll show you how to do that next week. But that is it. And then you can do all kinds of things. You can change the port. His instructions on his Git page show you how to change the port. And you can redirect the /no so that nobody needs to point in /no. You can even change the port to port 80. And so anytime somebody goes to your page and you've redirected no to the main page, or you redirect the main page to no, your default page, it happens. Just like it did when we did this. Let's bring that back. Okay. I could have faked that, but I would. No, I've used up all my sick days, so I'm calling in. Well, I'm calling in well and staying home. All right. Well, that's what happens when you go without rehearsal. And it's useful. It's educational. You can see we ran into one or two interesting problems right off the bat. The missing git command, the missing npm command, which installs, it reads one of the configuration files in that folder, and then it goes out and gets them, and then it's used to launch it. So, but do have fun with the isalmon.dev directory and the no there. And first thing we'll do next week after introductions is get right on that. For the moment, I have no gigs scheduled for next week, but the phone usually starts ringing Monday or Tuesday morning. Gigs are almost always Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Today was this weird crisis. There was a Friday last second gig. And it's a place I've been to, but besides the fact that I had this committed, they called me with 3.5 hours notice, and it takes 4 hours to get down there. It would have taken me half an hour here to load up and prep gear and get changed and all that, so I would have been an hour late, and that just doesn't work in this kind of world. All right, let's see what else you guys were talking about in that time frame. Over here. Over here. Am I going to steal that and use it? Nah. I did a thing. There are a number of people who are wonderful people. Some of them do this out of altruism and the goodness of their heart. Some of them do it as teasers to sell product or whatever. But on LinkedIn and on, hey, I'm, okay. Looks like I paused there for a second. On X and other places, knowledgeable people about a particular topic will create a GIF with a flowchart of a particular subject, or sometimes it's just static with labels or things like that. I collect some of those. I've never used them professionally, but there was one person that I particularly like. His name is Traw, T-R-A-W, with an umlaut. over the A. And it's a lot of networking stuff, some programming stuff in there. And he's got at least 100 of these slides. And I kicked him off a note the other day. He sells them, $20. You can buy a set of his slides for $20. And I'll share a couple with you. I have his permission to do that. And we may bring him on once we put our final deal together. But I thought these would be really, really useful as summary slides for my high school classes. And so I kicked him off a note and asked him what kind of license could I get from him to use them. And we worked out a number. And I'm the first one who've ever asked him. People just bootleg his stuff and pirate it. It's a shame. But I will share this with you. And when I do, I'll give you his contact number, his website, and things like that in case you're interested. See, I don't have any on this machine, so I can't share any with you right now. But they are just super cool. All right, Shia left with a goodbye. What do we got here? Let's get everybody else on things. Buzz, 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 gun, gun, gun. I will get back into redesigning shirts. I have the thumbnails, so I can redesign them. But man, it's so painful to have lost all of those originals, and they were such good designs and good EPS files. I hate to redo work. I am not running in a VM. Check missing humor channel in ADRAMADA. Okay. I will too. Did some AI magic. Hey, thanks to Patricia. Oh, you guys are the ones I thank here with 3.5 minutes. Good. Good night to Shia. Always great to get together. It is. I'm sorry. The buzz grind was some kind of hiccup on my system. I saw it go pause mode for a second. Might make a shirt with that image. If you do, I got the source. He's lined up and ready to go. It's free to use. All right, I'll look. Speaking of buzz, I guess the buzzing earlier was just me. No, it was the feed. I don't think it was my machine, but I think it was YouTube. I just got this laptop in February. I am on the hunt for a new laptop as well. I missed one this week. Hey, well, let's wind it up. Fun as ever. Wow, we got to have it. 2 weeks in a row, right? So a reminder. I've got a link for free enrollment to my subnetting course in the announcements channel and in the Udemy channel on our Discord server. Go hit the Discord server and sign up. Do that before they're all gone, because I think they're going to all disappear in the next couple of days. Tonight, I am going to post that over to another big Discord server with 20 times our enrollment. And if we get 20 times our membership. So if we get 20 times our enrollment, they will all disappear in short order. And if that does happen, you let me know. I'll get you a one-off. And we can do that. So like I said, you got 2 weeks to enroll, and then it's lifetime. Run the course, don't run the course, but give me a rating. And make sure it's 5 or better. You can only go to 5, but you get the idea. All right, well, let's wind this puppy up as we are wont to do, and we'll do this again. We'll target next Thursday, and if the wheels come off the wagon, we'll do it next Friday. As ever and always, I wish you a great rest of the week. Take care of each other, take serious steps to stay healthy, and if at all possible, call or visit your parents. And never forget, technology is great, but the greatest resource we have are you and I. And with that, I bid you good night. I'll see you on ADRAMADA next week on the other platforms I'm on. Until then, remember, how you do anything is how you do everything. Eat up or ah.